I don't know what the heck happened. So there's nobody here yet, but I'm just still gonna recap what happened this morning. So I had this perfect plan to go live. Around what, 9 o'clock this morning? It's 11:30 now. And for some reason, I can't get my 5G to work. Well, I mean, my 5G works perfectly, but when I start live, so for whatever reason, either I'm the dumbest YouTuber in the whole world, or then there's literally something wrong with my settings. I've tried to troubleshoot my settings. My 5G speed is perfect, well, according to the test I run, but still, for whatever reason, I just can't make that work. So, but luckily I have this vertical live workshop or boot camp that I was invited to. That's why I actually started doing these lives. So this is the 4th day. For those of you who might be watching this later, since these are recorded and saved. So yeah, I started doing these YouTube lives 4 days ago, and it's been super fun. But for whatever reason, I've only been able to do my live recordings using Wi-Fi. It just it can't be that way. So whoever is online, if you happen to be an expert in terms of 5G and YouTube live, vertical, I don't know if it matters if it's horizontal, YouTube, vertical, just let me know. Shoot me an email, ej@erkkasuvanto.com, so you can look it up. It's on my YouTube channel, I'm sure. Or find me on Instagram and send me a DM. I would appreciate it. I've used ChatGPT, yes. Settings, latency, speed, everything. But nothing seems to work. I just came back from the gym. And, well, the whole idea of the morning live would have been to take you guys to one of my properties. I have this waterfront property that I'm trying to flip. It was rezoned, and but I run into some trouble with my neighbor, because even though the city approved the rezoning permit, this neighbor decided that it's not in their interest. So their property sits behind me, so they don't have an ocean view, or sea view as I call it. It's not a waterfront property that they have. They live there year round. So I had to get this special permit to get my property rezoned. And then they objected it, because according to them, my property would partially block their sea view. And again, I guess people are different, so they were under the impression that maybe until the foreseeable future, if they sit on the second row, they would by default have that view until eternity. That's not the way it works, but anyhow, it's all good. So hopefully it's going to be that petition. It went to appeals court or whatever. Hopefully it's going to be handled there at the end of this year, and then maybe I can sell it then. But anyhow, I was planning on taking everybody, whoever happened to be watching my live at that point, to that property, show you what it is. But then since I couldn't do my live using 5G, anyhow, it went south. Then I went to the gym instead, which I was planning on doing anyhow. Just came back, trained upper body, and now I'm eating my first solid meal of the day. Other than that, the plan of today, for today, if you will, is to record my VSL, video sales letter, for my landing page. That's probably a 3.5-minute video. I usually don't do scripts, meaning like teleprompter type scripts, but this is so long that I can't memorize the whole thing. So I probably need to use my laptop for that. Let's see how that goes. And then after that, I just need to prep for my upcoming next long YouTube video. And for those of you watching, so go take a look at my, I think it's a 7.5-minute video that I uploaded yesterday. It's about how to find the best tenants in the world. My 3-step process. It's super easy to follow if you happen to be in the real estate business. If not, that's fine. Just watch it anyhow. Use if useful, and comment. Give me improvement ideas. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna let this stream just run in the background probably a little bit when I cook my thing, then I eat, and then I start preparing for my recording. And then in the afternoon, I just have to go to one of my properties where the AC, of course, is having some issues. It's not working properly, and my tenant just texted me last night. So this is one of those things. I don't have a property manager for that property. For most of them, I actually don't use a property manager. I haven't been able to find a good one. I have a handyman who takes care of all that stuff, but for the most part, I choose my own tenants. I manage all of that stuff, and up until now, it's been relatively low maintenance. Maybe it's because I don't have too many of them, so I have 20 plus, give or take. But it's been fine. But I have to troubleshoot that today, and then, like I said, prep for the video and record one. So that's today's signal. Every day, ignore the noise, understand what's relevant to you. And to me, it's making sure that those three things are taken care of. I'm sweating like crazy because I just got back from the gym. And yeah, this is my signature. How can I show this? This batter, dough, whatever it is my signature breakfast. What that means in practice is that I have 1 banana smashed, 5 eggs, maybe 80 to 90 grams of oats, a little bit of vanilla protein, so that's my first solid meal. When I hit the gym in the morning, I always just have my morning greens and my amino acids together with some caffeine, like an energy drink. Then I hit the gym, then I have my intra-workout where I have some carbs and more amino acids during the workout so I can keep going. And then when I come home, today it's a little late, I eat this thing. Then I just fry it on the frying pan. Basically turns into this thick pancake, and then I eat it with fresh berries. Today probably blueberries and maybe frozen raspberries. So that's it. But it's a bummer that the morning stream didn't work. And again, there's more people online now, a few of you at least. So if you know anything about 5G and vertical live streaming on YouTube, shoot me a text or a DM and let me know what the heck's going on. Anyhow, but it's all good. But think about it. So this morning, when you woke up, whoever is on the other side, imagine that 160,000 people died. You didn't. You get to fight another day. Isn't that crazy? No matter how much adversity is in your life, ups or downs, challenges which are given, by the way, you still got to fight another fight. Live another day. Isn't that amazing? Glass is always half full. It took me a while to understand that, to be perfectly honest. I used to be so end result and outcome driven in everything that I do that I basically measured my success and my happiness based on what I achieved. Okay, this is the never-ending topic. And people might say, okay, if you don't have goals, if you don't look at that end goal, how can you ever achieve anything? So let me explain how I look at it nowadays. Because the other way didn't work for me. I started writing stuff down when I was 20, 21. I lived in LA back then. And I bought my first Brian Tracy book. You know, the personal development guru, self-help stuff. I immediately fell in love with that shit. And then basically to me it was like a big aha moment that, okay, I'm supposed to visualize these things. Okay, what is it that I want to achieve in 5, 10, 15 years? I started writing that down. And for whatever reason, it never really clicked. I don't know why. I mean, I always felt that there was something off. So I used to measure my goals and for the most part, everything that I achieved always seemed to be kind of random. And I was like, why isn't there a better connection between the so-called goal that I visualized, wrote down and put on my whiteboard, and what I actually got? And then when I realized, when I went through some personal turmoil, a couple of breakups, and moved to another country again, started from scratch, and then I had some business struggles when it comes to real estate, really not doing well here locally. I mean, we had like 10, 15 years of crazy growth, and then all of a sudden it kind of like all started to go south. The bottom fell off. And then I started reading more about it and came across some people who actually look at it differently. And I understood that me, like basically every person on the planet, according to my theory, we just always dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. So kind of like either looking at our goals or, you know, worrying about if we ever achieve those, or, you know, we're pissed off based on what happened yesterday. So I was like, okay, so that really means that I'm missing out on the only moment that's real, which is the present moment. Like right now, this is the only moment that I have. If I don't get to appreciate this, if I don't actually pay attention to this, I miss out on this. It goes by so fast. And then it becomes history. So then I literally started practicing in terms of how to cut ties to the past and the future, and really measure my success based on how well I was able to empty my tank on any given day. So I go from 0 to 1, and then tomorrow I fully expect to do the same thing all over. So start from scratch. And I think that's been one of the biggest things in my life that's helped me to be happier and achieve better things. It might sound counterintuitive to many people, but I look at it nowadays in a way that I win no matter what, because I either get the desired outcome, meaning what I wanted in the first place, or that epic story. And those epic stories usually are the lessons. And those are the most valuable things at the end of the day. So yes, I want to achieve a lot of stuff, but it comes in the form of doing my absolute best every day and asking myself, was I able to empty my tank? And then if yes, then in the long run, I always get what I deserve. That's why I don't have to worry about it. It doesn't need to be, you know, written on a piece of paper or a whiteboard. So that's what works for me. Use it useful. If not, then don't worry about it. Do what works for you. I'm gonna let this cook here for a little bit. It's usually about 10 to 15 minute process, so on medium heat. And then I'm gonna eat it. Yesterday we had a really super interactive session, so people have a bunch of questions. They were mostly about nutrition, diet, exercising. So I don't necessarily need to talk about my business stuff here. This is the reason why I do this, is for the most part actually off topic, because I've been looking for a forum where I could just like not worry about what I need to say, or whether it's like straight to the point and on topic all the time. So I think this is actually very refreshing. I don't know what this is going to turn into. I don't know if people are interested in listening to me. I can talk forever, but again, maybe it's about creating that connection and making sure that if people find my other stuff useful, then taking them behind the scenes might be kind of like connecting more dots type of a thing. But anyhow, I mentioned that I'm going to record that VSL, video sales letter. So for those of you who don't know, it's basically the idea is that I have my sales funnel, my landing page. Whenever you're watching content on YouTube, so anybody's, let's say people have this, they have CTA, we talk about CTA, call to action. So the way I structure my content now, and I'm sorry by the way, I jump from one topic to another. So just give me comments if that bothers you. If not, just, you know, anyhow, that's how I am. But anyhow, so if you watch any of my content or any other people's content who have more subscribers and whatnot than me, they all do the same thing. So basically in the beginning, I try to have a CTA, call to action. So like after my intro, let's say after 30 seconds, I'm like, okay, well, if you want more info, I have this free consultation session. Just here's the link, click on it, you know, I'll talk to you and we'll have a chat, okay? And then there's another CTA in the end. But the idea is that then what these people do, you know, when they click on that link, then that takes them to a landing page, which basically is kind of like a brief summary of your offer. What is it that the value you can provide to these people? You know, how can I make it easier? How can I make it cheaper, faster, more convenient, so that I can highlight the dream outcome really in an easy way. So the headline already tells people what to expect. So for that landing page, I'm recording a so-called brief video. So that's what that is. So here's how I normally prep. So another day on my bed. So I printed these out, these pieces of paper. Try to kind of like look at them, memorize it a little bit. And then I take my tripod and I'll probably record here. I'm gonna actually, why do I keep turning this? I'm gonna flip it like this. So here, shooting this way. I'm gonna probably place the camera here and shoot like that and sit here by the table. And then just record the thing. When I started a year and 4 months ago, literally from scratch, I had never recorded anything publicly or never faced the camera. It was kind of frightening, terrifying in the beginning. But then when I started doing it, now it's actually something that I look forward to. And I still struggle with as far as scheduling these lives. So I don't really have anything firm. I just like start the live whenever I want. Maybe in the future I could just do a better job as far as using is it the community post? What is it called? Anyhow, it's kind of like the story, YouTube story. Put it there. I did it once, but then it backfired because again, my 5G didn't work, like I mentioned already twice in the stream. So we'll see how that goes. But I really like this. Again, so send me comments if there's anybody there who wants to ask me anything or just like tell me something. Personal stuff or not, I don't mind. You can tell me if I'm ugly, that's okay too. I don't care. I don't take it personally. Yeah, anyhow, I moved into this apartment. I used to have a house. I'm based in Finland right now. I've lived in many countries, but now I'm based and my kids are here, so that's why I'm gonna shoot it this way. So I'm by the river. I'm right in the center. So I have a nice view, which is something I wanted. I want to see the big picture and kind of be able to connect the dots and whatnot. That works for me really well. And I can walk to the gym. I can walk to the grocery store. And winter time, I spend a lot of time in Spain and elsewhere anyhow, because I don't really like the winter in Scandinavia. So having an apartment or a condo works perfectly because I don't have to worry about maintenance. Tatsumi says, "Sir, I love your video. It gives really the best reality check about to do something best or try to best." Okay, thank you for that. Okay, appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I just had a conversation with somebody yesterday about, what you say about trying your best. I'm just the biggest believer in never, well, first of all, here's the philosophy that I follow. So I only start those things that I can continue forever, literally. So I'm very extreme when it comes to this. So if people ask me to start a new hobby, or let's go bowling, or let's go skiing, or whatever, if it's my kids, of course I go because they're my number one priority. But I'm really trying to prioritize the long-term thinking, saying that, okay, focus is my number one. So I used to be very bad at saying no to stuff, which meant that I tried to say yes to everything. And now I'm the opposite. I say no by default so that I can say yes to the most important things. And to me, those are three: my kids, my business, and my training. Everything else is secondary. I say a lot of no to social things and whatnot. I don't go partying. I just try to go all in on those three because I know myself so well. My intuition says that if I don't do everything that I have or everything that I can right now, I'm gonna regret those things when I'm 90 or 100, whatever, when I'm run out of time, literally. So that's how I look at it. So trying your best is like I said just a while ago, it's all about knowing that today I go from 0 to 1. I empty my tank, whatever that 1 means, I achieve. I look at those things that I need to do today. Those are the signal, and everything else is noise. And say no to all of that noise. And that's hard. It's really hard. First of all, knowing what signal is on any given day, and then saying no to the rest of the stuff. That's bullshit. That's noise. Okay, and then it's just whatever you do today, you expect that there's nothing really left in reserves tomorrow, and then you do it all over. You start from scratch. That's how I look at it. I don't start relationships. I don't date anybody for 3 months. I ask myself, is this person somebody that I see myself spending some time with also in 5 or 10 years? If yes, then I can consider that. But I don't go bowling because I know that I'm not going to do it for 5 years or 10 years. I've been lifting weights for 32 years. I will never stop. I will never stop spending time with my kids. They're always my number one priority. I will never stop doing business. In my books, I never lose if I don't quit. I play infinite games, meaning those games that never end. Your health, for instance, for those people who are health conscious. So your goal is not to stay in, reach your best beach body by next summer. Your goal should be, in my opinion, again, only my opinion, to stay healthy for the rest of your life. That's it. That's an infinite game. Trying to reach your beach body by next summer is a finite game. That's a game that has an end point. I think we all should play games that don't have endpoints. Again, should. It started at the point when I was failing my academics like 1 year ago, and I thought to give 2 attempts, but now I cleared it 4th attempt 2 months ago. Okay, so I look at it this way. I mean, whether it's academics or it's business or whatever it is, you always get what you deserve. So so my son, for the record, so he had trouble passing the driving test. Okay, so he's 19 now. He's going to turn 20 in December, to put things into perspective. So everybody else in the family, my parents included, were freaking out about okay, so we should make sure that he passes it. Why isn't he passing? It doesn't matter. It's he's going to pass anyhow. So if that's something he wants, then he has to get better. That's it. And it's going to teach him a lesson. So I wouldn't be worried about it. And for the most part, people freak out because they compare themselves to somebody else and somebody else's schedule. It's your schedule. There is no right. There is no norm. There is no normal. There is no yes or no or right or wrong. It's always right if it's your thing. So forget what people say. And that's the thing. That's noise versus signal, meaning relevant versus irrelevant. What's irrelevant? What's irrelevant is what other people do. You should ignore all of that. And that's so super hard because the society is telling us what to do, and our friends and our neighbors and our relatives and everybody's asking, where are you going to go study? Did you already pass that exam? It doesn't fucking matter. Because it's your schedule. Nobody else's schedule. I want to take my blueberries out of the fridge. I like fresh blueberries with my banana thing, my pancake. Anyhow, I appreciate the interaction. I don't know if you, and like I said, what I say, again, the same thing applies. Filter, or maybe 10% applies to you. And you should be comfortable enough, whenever you listen to somebody. Remember, if you listen to somebody who's ahead of you right now, they might be giving you tips and advice that apply to them right now. You should basically copy their behavior when they were in the exact same spot where you are right now. Okay, so the same thing with investing and money advice. If you talk to Warren Buffett or whoever right now, they'll probably tell you to diversify. Okay, so that's probably not the best example. Let me give you another one. So an entrepreneur who started from scratch. Let's say somebody is selling shoes online, okay, or started that way. And now they have a lot of money, and now they invest in real estate, crypto, whatever, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, whatever, gold. In the beginning, that's not how they started. In the beginning, they basically went all in on this one thing. And then when they quote unquote made it, then maybe they diversified. Or if you're Elon Musk, you never diversify. When he sold his shares from PayPal, he basically, literally, invested all of that 200 million back into his companies, had to borrow to pay for rent. That's called going all in. Hi, Eugene, Tatsumi. At second attempts, I was really about to give up. Then before the exam, third attempt, I saw your video about productivity and accountability and focusing on what you can do. I can really, thank you, sir. Okay, I really appreciate it. That's why I do it. So hopefully it helps. Again, keep in mind that it's just my opinion, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Really do. I mean, I want to help. I mean, that's why I do this, because I need to make money too. But the reason why I started these videos almost a year ago, I mean, almost a year and a half ago, was that first and foremost, I wanted to build a legacy for my own kids. So I was like, okay, so they are 19 and 16 now, almost 20 and almost 17. So I asked myself, what is that they might need down the road if they ever start their own company or if they have some adversity in their life, which will happen. And of course, I'm not saying that I know it all, but I know my kids pretty well, and I've gone through some stuff myself. So I was like, okay, so this might be useful at some point. And then if somebody else gets something out of it too, then good. And now a year and 3 months down the road, I have started to narrow my scope a lot only towards real estate, because I have most of my transactions and dealings and whatnot as an entrepreneur are real estate related. So that's why I wanted to really go all in on that. Now my pancake is ready. Now it's ready. I'm gonna show it to you in a sec. I'm gonna show it to you in a second. What do you think? Does this look good? How can I show this like better? Can I see anything? I don't know if it looks good, but it's really good. I eat the same breakfast, believe it or not, every day. Literally every day. Yeah, I know. Most people would say that I can't handle that. That's boring. To me, it's about standardizing what you do. My kitchen looks messy. Full disclosure, I have a cleaner. I don't do that stuff, and she's on vacation, and I'm completely lost. Well, I'm not lost, but I don't like this at all. Changing sheets, cleaning, I don't. But anyhow, it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, but I've been delegating this responsibility to my kids a lot too. So let me see where I should put this. Maybe I put it here. Maybe I put it here. Yeah, this is good. That looks ugly there. Looks hideous. So, no questions. I'm gonna just eat here and talk about random stuff. You did it all by yourself, cooking. I'm also about to go for I cook myself. Yeah, I don't have anybody cooking for me. Yeah, I actually like cooking because I eat the same kind of foods. So to me, I'm really picky about what I eat. And now the only outside help that I have, of course, I'm not talking about like business stuff, but at home is cleaning. I have somebody who comes once a week, and she changes the sheets, cleans, and does that stuff. It's a big help. And I'm a big believer in doing those things that you want to get better at. And if you have a chance to buy yourself more time, because that's what it boils down to. So I buy myself more time by outsourcing some of the things. And look at it this way: if you want to make $100 an hour, and you don't make $100 an hour today, that's fine. But if that's your goal going forward, to make $100 an hour, okay? And you can hire someone. Let's say you spend on average 10 hours a week when it comes to cleaning and doing laundry and whatnot, okay? And you can hire somebody to do it for 20 bucks an hour. Do you think it would make sense for you to hire someone to do that and pay that person 20 bucks an hour, and you do what you want to do to then at some point earn or make that $100 an hour? So the mentor having Humio. So what do you think? Yes, every day, any day, all day. Why? Because that way you buy yourself time to get better at that thing that you want to get good at. And then eventually you will expedite, you will shorten that gap between now and when you make $100 an hour by buying yourself time, right? And many people, these are the so-called, I don't want to put people in two camps about rich people and poor people, but there are certain poor people habits. So make sure that you're not one of those people who's willing to spend an hour and a half every day to find the cheapest gallon of milk or gas and be willing to drive to the other side of town and spend a lot of time on that to save $1. That's complete stupidity. So make sure that you just like delegate, outsource, and ignore all those things that don't really matter to you. And that's all, again, the same thing that I talked about, meaning noise. Understand what's signal and what's noise, and noise is the stuff that you ignore. It makes no sense for you to save $5 and spend an hour in doing so, when you can spend that hour in trying to be better at what you do and monetize that later. Yeah, for time, yes, timing, and then focus is the thing. Really, you want to make, because the thing is that if you spread your focus into 15 different things, you will never get good at anything. We all have limited capacity. Call it 100%, okay? I'll give you an example. If I want to get really good at real estate, day trading stocks, and I don't know, understand crypto, okay? What do you think the chances are? Meaning I have 100%, my capacity, I divide that 100% into 3 different buckets. So if it's evenly distributed, then it's 33% roughly between all 3. And it takes probably, I would argue, maybe average 7 to 10 years to get really good at something. So if you divide your 100% attention between 3 different buckets, activities, it's probably impossible for you to get good at anything. Because getting good at something requires everything that you have and maybe beyond that. So that's why it's focus. Because focus is the only thing you really have, time, and then the attention you get with that time, and ultimately focus. And with focus, you can go deep into something, and then with focus and having a lot of time regarding one activity, then you can start monetizing that and maybe get really good at something. Yeah. Yeah, another thing is if you do it all by yourself, true, you need to find people who are better than you, who can show you how to do it so that you can learn from them. That's basically the same as paying down your ignorance debt, not knowing what you don't know. I use this mountain climbing example all the time. So let's say I want to go and climb to the top of Mount Everest. I've never been there. I'm part of this group of 5 people. And we are all first timers. I'm at the bottom of the mountain. Who do I talk to? Those other 4 or 5 mountain climbers who are also clueless like me. And we try to figure out the best way to get up there. It's so easy for me to listen to these people because they're close to me. They whisper in my ear, tell me all kinds of stuff. Most likely, 90% of that is all bullshit. Who should I listen to? That person who's been there. Okay, how do I find that? That's also called mentorship and coaching and whatnot. You don't need to necessarily hire anybody, but you can identify those people who have that information. Maybe it's by reading books, watching videos, listening to podcasts or whatever. But it's so easy in life. That's all noise. That's why I tell my daughter, who's very coachable, who's 16 and talks to me a lot about this stuff. Constantly that. Okay, so you're in the business of ignoring 90% of what people tell you, literally 90%, applying 10%. And that 90% includes the people who are closest to you. I'm one of those people too, by the way, in certain respects. I tell her that. Look, I'm not the best expert in everything, but certain things I know. So it's your job to make sure that you only filter what you think is relevant as far as what your dad, your very vocal dad, tells you. So that's how I look at it. Isn't it cool eating while people are watching? Well, nobody's watching now. It's cloudy today. It's been super warm here. We had a record as far as how many days in a row we had up, I don't know, over 30 degrees Celsius. What's that, like 80? Hold on. 90 is what, 32? Almost 90 degrees, like 85 over. So, I know that summer in Scandinavia really never gets too hot. I lived in California for many, many years, and I mean, the year-round weather there is probably the best in the world. It's never humid, and if you live, you know, close to the water, close to the ocean, you have this microclimate effect that keeps your winters really mild and your summers somewhat cool as well. So that's really ideal. The closest to that in Europe is probably southern Spain. And no wonder I've been there in the winter a lot. Where do you guys travel, if you travel? Where are you from? Tatsumi is probably from Japan. Bonjour. Eugene. Bonjour. I was in France a few weeks ago with my kids in Nice. I really like the French Riviera. It's super cool. So elegant, stylish. Anyhow, this is my first solid meal of the day. It's past noon already. It's crazy. For some people, it's lunch. Well, I've had liquid, quote-unquote, meals. But I've lost some weight this summer, I think. I haven't stepped on a scale in weeks. Doesn't really matter. Losing weight is not hard for me. I'm skinny by default. Some people need to fight back so that they don't gain weight. To me, it's always been kind of the opposite. Well, meaning, I talk about this openly on my channel all the time. I think motivation can ultimately come from two sources: a deep insecurity and curiosity. It doesn't really matter. Don't overanalyze why you have motivation if you have strong motivation. But there was this study, and I'm not comparing myself to billionaires, by the way, in any way, don't get me wrong, but there was this study about these character traits that all these super successful people have. They were billionaires. What is it they all share? There were a few things that were common between these people. Number one, they had a really, really strong why. And usually it's deep insecurity, so kind of like nothing enough that keeps them going. Then their ability to delay gratification, meaning that they can move the goalposts. And like, again, I'm not politically, I don't comment, but and I don't like it that Elon is nowadays involved in politics, but it's probably the best example of that. So you can delay gratification. He makes 200 million by selling his shares from PayPal and invest every single dollar and penny back into his own companies. Like basically goes almost broke. Like willing to bet on himself, invest in himself all the time, go from 0 to 1 and back to 0. Like start from scratch. That's a very rare ability. So it's like that delayed gratification thing. And then the third one is that they believe that they were meant to do big things. Deep insecurity as a strong why. Ability to delay gratification, so move the goalposts. So like, I don't need that money now, I can reinvest it, I can wait. And then this like really strong belief in themselves, like almost to the point of being delusional that I was meant to do big things. So that's just something that has been studied. Not my conclusion, but I can definitely relate to all of those three. Doesn't mean that I compare myself to these people in no way, in any way, but it makes sense. Okay, can you give some suggestions about finance management in property, like what to look for before buying anything like that? Just some basics. Okay, so talk about real estate investing, I assume. Okay. So many things. As an overall statement, I suggest that you keep watching my upcoming videos. I'm going to be talking about this a lot, but I want to ask you a question and try to add value. So if you are about finance management in property, so maybe you're talking about cash flow, cap rates, return on investment and stuff like that. I'm going to cover the basics, and because I'm not 100% sure what you really mean, because there are so many different nuances that we could talk about. But to me, I always like to look at real estate as it's a true way of investing, in my opinion. If I invest in stocks, to me, it's speculation. I'm not going to put things black and white, because I have realized that I have really no way to understand enough about one particular company, what's going on in the marketplace and whatnot. So to me, it's always speculation. I put my money in certain stocks and then it goes up and down, and I'm like, I have really no control over it. That's really the key word, control. But real estate, when we talk about forced appreciation, is a way to influence the outcome. It doesn't really matter if you do buy and hold, meaning you buy something and you plan on renting it, okay? Or you basically buying something, you fixing and flipping it, or even doing a build and sell, meaning you do a new construction. Okay, so that's number one. So understand that. So you make your money by buying the property, right? Okay, so let's say you want to rent it out to somebody. You never buy anything at market value. That's why investing in stocks is hard, because they all market value, unless you buy basically private companies and you are able to negotiate a deal. That's a completely different story. But publicly traded companies, they always have market value. Whereas if you buy real estate, for the most part, investors always have to make sure that they buy something at wholesale prices, okay? So first you need to get good at really understanding what valuations are. We talk about after repair value and then purchase price. Let's say a property, the way I look at it is that I always look at let's say there's a property I'm interested in buying. Let's say it's a single family home, and my end goal is to buy more rentals, increase the size of my rental portfolio. The first question in my mind is that what is this property worth in its current condition and when it's rehabbed? That gives me the valuation. I talk about after repair value. Then I'm like, let's say it's worth 300,000 when it's all fixed up. Very nice, pretty. New windows, whatever, new interior, everything, okay? Now the person is asking 200,000.
Okay, I'm like, okay, it's worth 300, and now they're asking for 200, but I'm gonna have to put 50K into it. Would this type of an equation work if you wanted to flip it for profit? No. The buffer is not big enough. Why? Because you would have to deduct off of that 300K, you would have to pay a real estate agent. Let's say it's anywhere between 5 and 6%. If you're in the US, it's buy side and sell side. So double commissions, closing costs, holding costs, and any unexpected things. Because the money you have in your pocket or borrow, it costs something. There's always the opportunity cost. So that buffer would not be big enough. So that's the first step. And maybe the right price would be somewhere between 150 and 180, I don't know. But if you're renting it out, you obviously want to understand how much money costs. What I mean, like, are you able to lock your interest rates, which always is the preferred way so that you have predictable cost structure, and understand the rents. In a rental scenario, it's basically the same thing. So when you want to sell it, it's the after repair value. Like, what are people willing to pay for it? You need to get good at that. But if you're renting it out, the same way. So what's the market rent like? Is it going to rent for $1,500 a month? Make sure that you understand that. Be a little conservative as far as the numbers go. And then work your way back from there. What's my running cost structure, like my monthly expenses, property taxes, insurance, utilities if I pay them, if the tenant is not paying for them, and all of that. And then compare that net cash flow to your investment purchase and your rehab cost. And then that becomes your cap rate. And then you want to make sure that your financing is there as well included. If you have a mortgage payment or that loan payment. So, and it in my opinion should always cash flow. And then you need to understand the cash flow situation so that you're not bleeding. Plus then, am I banking on the value going up? Because that's how you make money in a rental scenario in two ways. The value going higher and the cash flow being positive. And of these two, this is really important to understand. It's really important to understand. The other one is tax-free. Which one? Cash flow is not. You pay capital gains taxes, but the appreciation is tax-free. You don't get taxed on that. Well, I mean, in most countries you don't. I assume it's the case in your country too. And the beauty here is that if you buy the property right, let's say you buy it for 150, you put 50K into it, and then you get it reappraised, and its value is now 300K. So there's 100K of equity in that deal. That's tax-free. And then the beauty, when you scale your business, that you can borrow against that 100K. That becomes your collateral, your equity rolling into the next deal. And then that's how you buy something else. That's how you scale. Did I answer your question in any way? Cash flow, like after purchase to put in rental income. Hopefully I talked about cash flow, right? So I always look at deals that are cash flow positive, unless I know that I'm able to build a lot of equity by buying it so low and the market is going crazy. I can bank on that appreciation, but that's dangerous. I usually never trust the market to go higher beyond inflation. I think it's dangerous. So that's why I need to really make sure that I buy it right, or I build it at the right cost. And then it becomes, then I force the appreciation to go higher and I build equity for myself. Did I answer your question? Hopefully. Anyhow, so this is the whole game in real estate if you want to scale it up. And the way to turn it into a business, okay, so a so-called quote-unquote traditional business. Let's say I want to become a startup, whatever, shoe store. It's not a business as long as I work there 24/7 myself. I need to hire somebody, put people in leadership positions so that I can just take a step back, and it makes money even if I sleep. The beauty in real estate is that even a one-person quote-unquote company can turn a relatively, I don't know if it's small or, but 5 to 10 property portfolio into a small business. If it cash flows and you have a property manager, you don't need to hire anybody else. You just subcontract the work to people, and then it becomes your business, and it's passive income. Well, it's not really ever passive, but I would call it active income because there's always headaches, but the same thing with every business. But if you have property managers who can take care of that for you, and it's built into your cost structure, that's the beauty of it. When you buy right, cash flow, like, sir, why do investors buy at wholesale price? Because that's the only way to make money if you flip it. And also, if you want the property to cash flow, you need to make sure that your cost base is low enough. You don't make money in real estate by buying at market prices. I've never bought anything like that. It's always wholesale, discount one way or the other. And that's why you need to, if you're in the business of, if you're in real estate and you want to grow and start, your first thing is to understand who controls inventory. Watch my last, not the last video, but the two before that. I talk about this very topic. So real estate agents are the ones who control most of the inventory, and also homeowners directly. So your number one job is to build relationships with these two key stakeholders because they have access to inventory. And the problem is that if you have, let's say in the US, it's called the MLS, but every country, I'm sure here in Europe, the same thing. You have your, portals where people market or list their properties. If you rely on those deals, you're already facing a lot of competition. So one way or the other, you have to find a way to be able to bypass the competition. If you build relationships with real estate agents and you become their trusted go-to guy for real estate deals, pretty much these people would then, not in the beginning, but when you have built trust, then they will eventually give you these so-called pocket listings, so off-market deals that are being offered to them, and they don't, for whatever reason, want to list them probably, and they see that you are the most convenient option. And if you start marketing to homeowners directly, then obviously people haven't necessarily contacted agents or the property is not listed, so you would be in a unique position to negotiate that deal so that you're the first being able to buy it. That's the whole thing. That's how you scale. Oh, yeah, appreciation, correct. And even if the market didn't appreciate, like if you think about it, if something is worth 200 now in its current condition and you're able to buy it at 170, why would okay, so then you might argue back or say back, okay, why would anybody sell it to me for 170? Well, here's where value comes into play. Put yourself in the homeowner's shoes. Ask yourself, what is it that these people really need? What's valuable to them? What does value mean? And then, how can I make it easier? How can I make it faster? How can I make it convenient? When I was buying from homeowners directly in the US, so basically the same value proposition was valid to the real estate agents as well. I basically said that, look, I only make good promises and I keep them all. I'm not playing any games. I'm the first person who's gonna recommend doing something else if that, in my opinion, is in your best interest. Meaning, let's say I call somebody, I talk to somebody on the phone, and I'm like, okay, they really need 200,000 because they owe 190 or 195. They can't sell for anything less than that. And my highest price would be, let's say, 170. I would tell them point blank that, okay, look, your first and best option is to talk to a real estate agent and see what they think about that 199 list price and go with that option. And then after that, if it doesn't work out, call me. I'm not your best option right now. State the facts, tell the truth, help these people first. Understand what value to them means. Convenience, time, cost, whatever. Make it easier. So how can I make it easier? Let's say they are willing and able to sell it for a discount. Why would they do that? Because they probably are out of money and they know that the property needs a lot of maintenance. So then they can't really handle that anymore. The roof is leaking and they are basically forced to do that. So then why would they sell to me versus somebody else? Well, I'm honest, I'm trustworthy, I keep my promises, I make good promises, I keep them all. And I basically tell them what their best options are. I'm willing to help them move out. Maybe they're out of money. Maybe their true concern is that, okay, I'm so done with this property, but I just don't have money to move out. If I talk to them, I understand, okay, well, actually, I'm able to help you out. That's fine. Don't worry about the thing. Just leave all your stuff there. You know, you're sick and tired of those old furniture. That's fine. I'll take care of it. Make it easy. Make it convenient. And then when people are like, okay, so what about moving cost? I hire a van. I ask my guys go and carry their stuff. I make it easy for them. Maybe that's the reason why they sell to me for 170 instead of 200 or whatever the number is. It's value. Understand what's important to the other person and then offer that. If you can't, then walk away. But that inflation for the price get higher, I don't get it. You talk about inflation. Yeah, inflation is driving your rent and your market values too. Yes, but you can't bank on inflation. That's what I'm saying. I mean, what I'm saying is that I don't expect the market to appreciate necessarily. Traditionally, real estate has been a pretty good place to put your money in, but if I buy something and I plan on fixing it and then selling it, let's say my total hold time, the time that I hold on to the property, when I buy it, when my guys work on it, then I list it, stage it, have pictures taken, and then the whole thing. Let's say the total time is 4 to 5 months. If the market is strong, it could appreciate easily, and say anywhere between 3 and 5%. Let's say it's 5%. My 300,000 after repair value becomes what? 315? That 15 is gravy. That's bonus for me. I don't bank on that. I don't trust that it ever happens. That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense? So that, in my opinion, that's the way to look at it. It's been super fun. Thanks for the comments. I think what I need to do now is to start getting ready for my video recording. I'm probably going to have another live later today. I don't know what time though. When I'm done with the stuff, it's probably going to be roughly in 5.5 hours, I'm guessing. Maybe 6 p.m. here in Finland. That way I can get some of my North American friends to join as well. Anyhow, I really appreciate you logging in again. Thanks for the comments. This means a lot to me. I enjoy this truly. I mean, it is really what I really enjoy doing. But yeah, so that's it for now, and then I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.